Do all people need the same amount of sleep? You may hear stories about famous people who claim they sleep only 3 or 4 hours a night. Some leaders, entrepreneurs, and highly driven people even treat short sleep like a badge of strength, as if sleeping less means being more competitive. But the ancient brain does not care about status. It cares about function. Can you think clearly? Can you control your emotions? Can you react well? Can you wake without feeling broken? Before watches existed, before alarms, life had one giant clock. The earth turned, light came, darkness returned, day after day, night after night. For millions of years, living things had to follow this rhythm. Day meant movement. Day meant searching, eating, learning, reacting. But night meant something different. Night meant less light, less movement, less visibility. A time when the body could not safely behave like it was still daytime. So life adapted. The body learned rhythm, the brain learned timing, and sleep became one of the deepest ways life followed the turning earth. Sleep did not begin as laziness. It began as rhythm, a conversation between the body and the planet. The sun rises, the body wakes. The sun disappears, the body begins to turn inward. We often think sleep means doing nothing, but sleep is not the brain turning off. Sleep is the brain changing its duty. During the day, your brain serves the outside world. It watches faces, it listens to voices, it solves problems, it predicts danger. But at night, the brain begins another kind of work. It sorts, it repairs, it cleans, it reconnects memory and emotion. It prepares the body for another day of being alive. Every day leaves small traces in the mind, and during sleep, the brain quietly puts some of those traces back into order. Scientists have found something strange about the sleeping brain. At the University of Rochester, Dr. Maiken Nedergaard and her team described a cleaning system inside the brain. It is called the glymphatic system. During deep sleep, the space around brain cells becomes more open. Cerebrospinal fluid can then move through the brain more easily, like water used by quiet workers to wash away the dirt left behind. It washes away any waste products that remain after a day, including waste linked to long-term brain health. So sleep is not just a pause, it is chemical cleaning. If the brain does not sleep enough, it is like a room where the dust is never fully swept away. The room may still function, but every day it becomes harder to move clearly inside it. This is why sleep is not weakness. Sleep is maintenance. Sleep is the night crew entering the brain after the day has ended. So when we say the brain rests, we should be careful. The brain does not stop. It changes from reacting to the world to repairing the world inside you. When you do not sleep, the body does not simply become tired. It enters the next day unrepaired. The brain becomes slower. Attention becomes weaker. The world may not have changed. The brain reading the world has changed. In one study, Dr. Matthew Walker and his team used MRI scans to observe the brain after sleep loss. One group slept normally. Another group stayed awake through the night. The next day, both groups looked at the same emotional images, but their brains did not respond the same way. In the sleep-deprived brain, the amygdala became much more reactive. This is the region connected to fear, anger, and the old fight-or-flight response. Walker reported that the emotional response increased by about 60%. This is why, after a bad night, a small problem can feel personal. A message can feel urgent. A delay can feel disrespectful. A small sound can feel like a warning. After a bad night, your ancient brain takes the wheel more easily. Your emotional alarm reacts first, and your modern brain needs more time to calm it down. This is why sleep does not only restore energy, it restores emotional control. Every hour you stay awake, your brain uses energy. When your brain stays awake, it slowly builds up a chemical signal called adenosine. The more adenosine builds up, the stronger your body feels the need to sleep. Think of adenosine like ash around a fire. The fire burns all day. The ash slowly gathers. At first, you do not notice it, but after many hours, the ground is covered. Your brain was never meant to work forever. It must stop. It must clear the ash. It must reset the fire. Sleep is part of that clearing. But then comes a real question. Can a cup of coffee help you wake up? This is also why caffeine can be confusing. Caffeine does not erase the need for sleep. It only covers part of the message. It is like covering the smoke alarm while the smoke is still in the room. You may feel awake for a while, but the pressure is still waiting underneath. It is true that sleep needs are not exactly the same for everyone. Age matters, genetics matter, sleep quality matters, your personal rhythm matters. Some people are morning types. They wake early and think clearly early. Some people are night types. Their brain becomes sharper later in the day. In an ancient tribe, this variation may even have helped the group. If everyone slept and woke at exactly the same time, the group had one long, vulnerable window. But if some slept earlier and some stayed awake later, the night had more protection. So the point is not to copy someone else's sleep. The point is to understand your own brain. How do you know if you slept enough? Instead of asking only, "How many hours did I sleep?" ask something more honest. How does my brain behave after waking? Can I wake up naturally and feel reasonably clear? Can I move through the morning without needing caffeine immediately? Can I drive, study, or work without feeling like my mind is behind my body? These are simple signals, not perfect tests, but they tell you something. Sleep is not only counted by the clock, it is revealed by the next day. A good night is not only a number, it is a brain that returns with enough clarity to live. What about sleeping too much? If sleep is so important, why not sleep as much as possible? Why can't we just sleep forever? The answer is simple. Sleep is not an endless hole. Sleep is a cycle. It has a job, and when enough of that job is done, the body begins to return to the day. Too little sleep leaves the body unrepaired, but too much sleep may mean something else is happening. Your body was not designed only for night. It was also designed for morning, to move, to eat, to learn, to connect, to return to the world. So, sleep is necessary, but waking is also necessary. One repairs life, the other continues it. Maybe sleep is not escape from life. Maybe sleep is how life repairs itself after being awake. Your body sleeps because it cannot run forever. Your brain sleeps because it cannot guard forever. So if you find yourself awake at night, remember this gently. Your brain is not broken. It may simply be holding an old torch in a modern room. And maybe the night begins to soften when that guard finally hears. You do not need to solve tomorrow tonight. You do not need to answer every signal. You do not need to copy someone else's rhythm. The door is closed. The fire is safe. The body can rest. And the ancient guard inside you can finally put down the torch. Thank you for watching. If this video made your night feel a little quieter, you can subscribe for more ancient brain stories. And if there is one signal your brain refuses to put down at night, you can share it in the comments.